Hello, all of my Sycamore Valley and Montevideo percussion students. This is your band instructor, Joe. And I wanted to do a quick drum video of things that we've talked about in class, and I just really haven't had time to sit and specifically address the drummers and work on these things. So this will actually be a good time to address some of the technical issues that we've been discussing in class. You'll also notice that I'm in my shed. For some reason, whenever I start playing drums in the house, the first thing I hear is, "Daddy, can you go out to the shed?" You know, especially when I'm playing on my pad, right? And I noticed doing a lot of online drum lessons with my students recently that they're out in their sheds too. So I don't know what it is, something about drummers getting stuck in garages and sheds. So we're probably all out in our sheds together right now. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was basic drums 101, how to hold the sticks. And I know you guys remember I've been correcting a lot of your stick holding technique during class and kind of reinforcing some of these ideas. So one of the things I've noticed with a lot of students is they tend to put their index fingers over the sticks like this, right? And so we have talked about in class, we want to look at this fulcrum in our hand. And generally, I like to hold the stick between my middle finger and my thumb. Some drummers use the index finger and the thumb. Either way, I'm going to do it this way. The rest of the fingers should be curved softly underneath the stick. I usually have close to the tips of my fingers here, and I'm here. And this index finger is more or less guiding the stick, but never on top of it. And then very important, the stick should intersect this space in your hand underneath that thumb muscle. And then my hand is straight down, almost like I'm playing a conga drum, like this, right? Not like this, which is okay for cymbals, but not so much for snare drums, which is what we do in class, right? So I have the stick here. There's my fulcrum on my index finger. About an inch of the stick, maybe that much sticking out the back. That can change as we're doing things. And then having the stick here, so I can use these fingers to keep pulling it back into that spot. So by keeping it here, the stick doesn't wander around as I'm playing and doing this, right? I keep the stick here, and that's kind of my guide for my breaks and also for my horizontal movement. I do the same thing with my left hand, right? Now I have my pad set a little high so you can see it. What this is, I'll lower it down a little bit. What this is a drum pad with the screw on the bottom going into like a cymbal stand, right? And this is pretty much what we use in class. And generally the way I want to set this up is I want to have my hands about, not with my shoulder, you know, I see some people like this in class because their stands aren't fully adjustable. So I want my hands to be, my elbows down, right? My forearms relaxed. It's mostly going to be wrist. And then I want to be able to flex my wrist without lifting my arms. So I set the sticks first. I want to be about here, right? And then I would walk up to my stand and have my sticks there, right? Which is probably good. You can still see the pad. I can see it, right? Okay, so what we're going to work on is maintaining this technique throughout a single stroke roll. I'm going to have the beads of the sticks on the drums, the beads of the sticks on the head. I'm not pointing the sticks up like this, right? You know, and they're not level either because I want some drop to them, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on moving the wrist without moving the arm. So I'm not doing this, right? I'm doing this. Now there could be a slight upward motion of the stick, but really I do want to practice just that drop, right? And I'm just going right, left. Now notice here, I'm maintaining about an inch in between the sticks, so I'm not here, right? You can get closer too as you bring the sticks into position. I'm doing one stick down. As that comes up, the sticks are switching places, right? Like this. And notice the first stroke, I'm doing about an inch from the head. That's going to be my low volume, right? Then I want to go about maybe 8 inches from the head, and that's going to be my middle volume. Now, I'm having the sticks come up almost to vertical, right? That's a good exercise to practice. Do this, that. And I'm really letting the stick fulcrum between those fingers. These fingers are real loose now. That will help you develop your bounce. So later on, your double stroke rolls will be easier. So the exercise I'm going to do is I have the sticks here. I'm using the fingers to make sure that the sticks are bouncing back into that groove in my palm. And I'm going to go right, left, right, left. And I'll do a few measures of this. This is my low volume. All right. Now I'm going to go a little louder. About 8 inches off the head. Right? And then harder, full volume, sticks almost coming up to vertical. Right? And then I go back down. And you should practice this a lot. Right? Don't worry about speed. Focus on making sure the stick keeps coming back to that spot, that you're doing a straight vertical movement and not letting the sticks wander around and hit into each other and raising your arms and doing all of this stuff, right? So if I do this a few times in a row, I'll do it at I don't know, in my head about 80 beats a minute or so. Notice it's getting louder as I go higher. And then eventually, as I go faster, I'm still staying relaxed. Notice that the movement is coming from my wrists. Right? There's not a lot of big arm movement. It's here. And then what you could do for fun is maybe work in groups of like 8 beats or like 2 beats doing quarter notes or 8 notes, and try accenting different hands. So right hand. Left hand. Third right hand, right? 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. One and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And play around, just put accents in different places, right? A fun one is to do every third beat, like a triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet. keep the sticks, you know, soft. Everything should be soft, right, and flowing. So work on that. So what we covered is fulcrum here, right in this joint, right? These fingers guiding the stick back in after I hit. My index finger just guiding. My palms flat like I'm playing a conga drum. Dropping from the wrist, 1 inch. Maybe 6 inches to 8 inches. And then almost vertical. Let those sticks bounce up. Now the other thing you can practice a little more advanced is having one stick go down while the other stick goes up into position. So after the stick bounces, the other stick's on its way down. That will happen naturally, you know, as you go fast. Right? So work on that stuff, guys. Spend a lot of time on that and go slow and focus on that break, on that spot there. Bring the stick back in. You can just practice doing that, using the fingers to pull it back in with your hand this way, right? And stay loose. So hope that helps. I'll do another one next week where we're going to start working on double stroke rolls and paradiddles. Right? So keep practicing. These things take a lot of correct repetitions, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. All right, guys, I'll see you out here in my shed in a few days.